Hey everybody, this is MarshaunO, your favorite life and relationship strategist out here, and I'm here to answer one of you guys' questions today. And so the question was, what are the clear signs that I should walk away? So some clear signs that you should walk away. I'm gonna give you 10 of them to think about. Maybe it is time to walk away. Here's definitely the thing. If you are having the majority of these, then it's definitely time to walk away, or at least time to see if you can work on your relationship. And if that is not a thing that you can do, that you two are willing to do for one another, for the saving of the relationship, then you need to rethink your strategy. So the very first thing that you need to do, sis, bruh, is evaluate if there is any type of abuse in your relationship. Now, of course, we know the absolute physical abuse is something that we're always going to think about firsthand, but there might be financial abuse. There might be even sexual abuse. Like, really, some people have the idea that they should not have sex because. Now, you fill in the blank of whatever that because is, but it could be sexual abuse. It could be financial abuse. Of course, it could be physical abuse. It could be emotional abuse or mental abuse. Any of those things that's going on, that is not for the betterment of you or for your relationship. So any type of abuse, find a way to get away. And definitely, if this is you and you're feeling harmful or scared about something, then look up the hotline. Somebody at the hotline can totally help you out. At the crisis hotline is specifically what I'm speaking about. So any type of abuse that's in your relationship, you want to move it along. The second thing to think about is when you imagine, or if somebody else poses a question to you, what if your spouse was with somebody else, and that imagination, that thought doesn't hurt you? It's probably time for you to walk away. Because if you're not being territorial about your spouse or your wife or your husband, and not territorial in a bad way, but territorial to the fact that I personally do not want to have any thought process of my husband with anybody else. And if I'm at the point where I don't care, what am I doing here? So I'm gonna pose the question to you. If you are at the point where you do not care, if your fantasy goes toward your spouse being with someone else, whether sexually or just cheating on you, or just literally with somebody else other than you, not even cheating, like the relationship is over and you don't care about that, what are you doing there? What are you doing there, sis? What are you doing there, bruh? Like, seriously, what are you doing there? Another thing to think about is when you imagine your future and your spouse is nowhere in the picture with you, it's probably time for you to go. Because if you cannot see your future alongside your spouse, or I should say your spouse alongside you in your future image, in your future picture, they're probably not going to be there anyway. So why are you wasting your time? Literally, you're wasting both of you guys' time. The next thing, which is point number 4, this is when sex is non-existent. And this is definitely not when there's a medical issue or, maybe there's some type of, okay, here's what I'm trying to say. When your spouse is taking some type of medication and that takes away their sexual desire, or maybe they're getting some type of treatment, again, taking away their sexual desire. But if there is nothing physically wrong with your spouse, nothing physically wrong with you, nothing physically wrong with him or with her, and they decide to withhold sex just because it's not their thing any longer, then you two are roommates. And sometimes, here's the thing though, sometimes you guys can agree to stop having sex for a period of time. But this is when you guys come together and agree for a certain period of time. Like, say, for instance, if you want to fast, right? It's for a period of time. It's not saying that it's going to last forever. And your fasting period can be as long as you want it to be. Here's the point. You guys have to agree about it though. But if there's no other reason, you're not trying to get clarity on anything, you're not on any type of medication, or have any type of underlying condition, and that person is taken away from you, and not even that they're cheating with somebody else, they just don't want to do it. It's like, it's not for them, it's not for him, it's not for her, but you want it, See, it's a difference when you both are on the same page and neither one of you want it, and then you want to stay in the relationship. Well, okay, do you. But if one of you wants it and the other person is withholding it, that's an issue. Because are you just there to be in a roommate relationship? Did you agree to that? Is that something that you knowingly signed on for? Is that something that you get pulled into? Sex is a big thing. It doesn't always take precedence over everything, but it definitely connects you and your spouse on that deeper level. Again, it has to be something that you're both okay with. And if it's not, then of course, all of these points, try to see if you can work things out. But if you cannot, which I'm sure by the time you're watching this video, you have tried to work on these things already, which is why you're thinking, should I walk away? Again, you want to have a plethora of things going wrong, not just one or two. Because really, it's not just you in the relationship. And people do change in the relationship. But that doesn't mean that you have to give up everything that you want, that you need, that you desire out of the relationship where you're only pleasing your partner and your partner is no longer pleasing you. So think about if sex is non-existent, and then what are the reasons why sex has now become non-existent. The next thing to think about is if your spouse is having an emotional affair. Emotional affairs are much worse than even just having a physical affair. Emotional affairs mean that you have walked out of the door without physically leaving. Emotional affairs mean that you really want to be in the relationship with the other person. You want to be having sex with the other person. You want to build the life with the other person. You have already checked out of the relationship. And sometimes when you're having an emotional relationship, you check out physically with your spouse, with your partner. Because again, you really want to be with the other person. Maybe you don't know how to go about it, or you're having feelings of guilt, but still not enough for you to keep having sex with your spouse. You just stop. So, emotional affair. Number 6, your partner's not interested in fixing the problems. Now, as I mentioned before, throughout this entire video, I've said it multiple times, this is something that both of you have to want to work on. This is something that both of you have to be willing to change. But if it's only a one-side street, if you are the partner that wants to change something and the other person is like, nah, I'm fine, I actually like who I am, I don't want to change, I ain't trying to change, and literally not just being a smart A because they don't want you to tell them what they're doing, but they're literally not changing anything about their approach or whatever the conversation is that you are having or continuously having with him or her, don't waste your time, boo. Because that's exactly what you're doing. Number 7, you talk about going to therapy in order to make things work. You talk about going to counseling. You're talking about speaking with your pastor, speaking with your priest, speaking with your imam. And they're like, nope, not interested. I don't want nobody in my relationship. I'm fine the way I am. I'm not changing. You like me for who I am. You love me for who I am. There is no sense of change in the picture, let alone going to see somebody, because that means other people get in my business. Well, you obviously are not doing something right. But unfortunately, sis, unfortunately, bruh, they can't see it. For whatever reason, they can't see it. And so they don't think that counseling or therapy will help them out, because only thing that they can see and hear is, number 1, something is wrong with them, and they think that they can actually fix it, which is wrong, because they would have fixed it if they could. And then number 2, I don't want nobody else in my business like that. It's not like your therapist or priest or pastor is going to broadcast your business. At least they shouldn't. That's why they're in that role. Anywho, so if counseling is off the table, if therapy is off the table, you don't want to work on a relationship at all, and then you got all of these other factors in there too, what you doing? Don't do it to yourself. Don't make it a lifetime of misery for yourself. Number 8, you two live like roommates. And I'm sure if you have a multitude of the previous 6, y'all probably living like roommates. Y'all probably, even if you have children there might be some structure meaning like you take the kids here, I take them there, I pick them up on this date, I pick them up on that day. It's basically a partnership, but it really is a roommate type of relationship versus a romantic relationship, or a relationship where you're like, oh my God, you're ecstatic to see this person. It's just like, oh, okay, Joe here. Yeah, your dad here. Ah, yeah, your mom here. Go talk to your mom. But there is no affection, there's no hugging, there's no kissing, there's no laughter. Only thing there is really arguments, or not even arguments, because maybe one spouse doesn't even want to deal with said conversations at all, and so they just check out. So you're living with a roommate. There is nothing special about this person. If they got up and left out the door and never returned, you probably wouldn't even care, and they wouldn't even care either. If you guys have children, those are the people or the person that would be affected, not necessarily you or him or her, right? Number 9, respect has completely left your relationship a long time ago. And respect can come in the form of you or him or her, whomever, not coming home anymore, or coming home at all hours of the night, not telling the other person where you've been, definitely not checking in with the person, completely yelling and screaming at one another, calling each other out of each other's names. Just the respect has completely left the entire relationship. And respect is a very big thing in relationships. This lets me know that you care enough about me to hear me out. This lets me know that you care enough about me to want to see me happy, hear the things that will make me happy, and then make an effort to adjust. But respect might have walked completely out of the relationship. The 10th and final thing is, maybe your friends, maybe your family, your inner circle in particular, have shared some things that you could change, that you can do differently. They're giving you all of this wonderful advice, and again, you're saying that I know, I understand, I'm going to do. But when it's time for you to be in private and do these things, bring these things to your relationship, you are doing nothing. And your inner circle has told you a time or two that they can see your relationship going downhill, because you two have that relationship where they can open up to you and say these things to you, but you are too stubborn to take the advice. And so, just as I mentioned in one of my other videos before, you're watching your relationship deteriorate right before your eyes. If you don't want that to happen, you need to do some changing. But sis, bruh, I hope that I have given you 10 clear-cut reasons or signs to say it is time to leave that relationship. Again, I will repeat, if you are already experiencing a multitude of these and you've tried to have that conversation, you talked about therapy, and maybe you've even gone to therapy, maybe you guys have even gone to counseling and nothing is still working, it's going to be time to make some tough decisions. And you guys know I hate talking about breakups and divorce and all that on my channel, but it is something that definitely does occur, and some people should have never gotten together in the first place. I am MarshaunO, your favorite life and relationship strategist. I hate to bring these types of videos to you, but I know that it's also needed. If this is your very first time here, then go ahead and hit that red subscribe button or the icon with my lovely face. And if you have experienced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these or more, leave a comment down in the comment section below. Let us know how you actually got over this or got through this period. Was it a breakup? Was it a divorce? What happened? How did you handle yourself? And how did you handle getting healthy afterwards? I love you guys, and there's nothing that you can do about it. I'll see you very soon. Deuces, y'all.